Om. 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 Om Brahmanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamatsyaadilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshibhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Om Sahanavavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Om Samastajana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahmavidvaram Sadgurum Brahmavidvaram. Hari Om everybody. Last time we saw verses where Bhagwan had said that there are a lot of people in previous years who have done karma in this way. And he says there are still a lot of people who consider themselves to be wise, who don't really know the definition of karma, what is karma and what is akarma. Kavayo api atra mohitaha. There are still wise people, Kavi I told you, wise, who are still deluded, mohitaha, deluded, have confusion about what is karma and akarma. And that's why I'm going to explain it to you. And then Bhagwan explains that there is karma, there is akarma, and there is vikarma. Vikarma, I told you, is nishiddha karma, which is prohibited actions. So we are not concerned with that. And the concern in the sense we should know. As a matter of rule, we will know what we are not supposed to do. Second point is, who decides what karma is correct? Only Shastra decides. How does Shastra decide which karma is correct for me? Because a karma that is right for me may not be right for somebody else. So Shastra decides as per the Varna and the Ashrama. And we saw the example of Arjun. Arjun wanted to beg. Begging is not wrong, but for Arjun, definitely it was not correct. Otherwise, Bhagwan would have allowed him to do it. So karma by itself, we cannot say this karma is right and that karma is not right. It depends on the person who is doing it. So a person, depending on the Varna and Ashram of the person, that action may or may not be right for him. So karma is decided by Shastra, and then karma is that which binds. That is the simplest definition of karma. Karma is that which binds us to what? To the cycle of birth and death. Why? Because karma creates more karma. That's what it does. It breeds. Karma breeds karma. How? When that karma is done with doership and enjoyership, which means with the notion that I'm going to do this and I am going to enjoy the result, it creates another vasana. It creates another impression in our subtle body. And those impressions remain, and those impressions have to be exhausted, have to be fulfilled. Therefore, the jiva has to take another body and has to have another field of experience to fulfill that vasana. So karma, simple definition, is that which binds. Why does it bind? Because of the doership and enjoyership. So akarma then should be understood as that karma which does not bind. Now, when we say, okay, then I won't do karma only, then there's no question of it binding me. No, if it is your duty, and if you step out of your duty, like step away from your duty, out of ego, out of delusion, for any reason. In case of Arjuna, it was delusion. It is coming out of ego only. Everything is coming out of ego, but he was deluded. So he wanted to leave the war. And no, that is not a karma. That also falls under karma, because that also is going to bind him. So akarma is an understanding. It is not a physical withdrawal from action. That has to be understood very, very well. That is what people do. There's no, I don't like you, or I don't like something, and I'm not going to do this. That is not akarma. So akarma is an understanding that the karma is being done by prakriti, by the play of the gunas, and I am the non-doer. I am the substratum. So therefore, akarma in its highest sense is Paramatma actually. It is the substratum. That is what akarma is. It is not a physical withdrawal from action. That needs to be understood. And so in 18, which is the heart of this chapter, very, very extremely important verse, where Bhagavan says, he is a buddhiman, saha buddhiman manusheshu. Saha, he is a buddhiman, very intelligent person, a really wise person who knows, who sees karma in akarma and akarma in karma. And that we have to understand very well. Seeing akarma in karma means where karma is going on very, very frantically outside, but the person who is doing it knows that I am not doing anything. So that akarma is being seen, even though that's the example of a realized master. So you see Gurudev doing right from 4 in the morning till 12 at night, constantly doing work. And then the person who thinks that, oh, what is the difference between him and me? I also get up and I go to work and I attend meetings and I do this and he does the same thing. That is not a wise person. But the one who knows that in spite of all this action that we are seeing, inside there is a non-doer. And this person is established in that non-doership. So those who recognize, the devotees recognize that even though there is action outside, we recognize the substratum, the akarma inside. Akarma is always inside. It's an understanding. So it's inside. So we understand. And then there is a person who just walks away from his duty, like Arjun walking away from the war. Then that is seeing karma in akarma. So Arjun thinks I'm not doing any action. So there is no question of any bondage. I'm walking away from action actually. War, I'm walking away. But Bhagwan knows that also is karma. That also is going to bind him. And therefore Bhagwan doesn't allow that. So that is what is meant by seeing karma in akarma and akarma in karma. Okay? Understand there's a very important verse. Doership and enjoyership is what makes karma a karma action. Now, 19 and 20 describe a realized master, realized person. Who is a realized person? This is through karma. This is not knowledge. This is not through karma itself. The one who sees that akarma in karma is a realized master. And this is what Bhagwan is now going to say. So we are on 19. Yasya sarve samarambhaha Kama sankalpa varjitaha Jnanagnidagdha karmanam Tamahu panditam buddhaha, whose undertakings are all devoid of desires and purposes, and whose actions have been burnt by the fire of knowledge, him the wise call a sage. Okay, so wise call a sage here is a realized master. Buddha word is used, Panditam Buddha. So the wise people means those who have a correct understanding of what karma is and what akarma is, as per my definition, which I have given in, I means Bhagwan. Bhagwan said, as per what I told you in verse 18, the one who understands karma in akarma and akarma in karma, that person is a wise person, the one who is doing it, understanding it. And such a person, yasya sarve samarambaha undertakings, all the work, all the karma that is doing is kama and sankalpa varjitaha, without kama desire. So ego and egocentric desire, that is what makes us feel I am going to do when I'm doing it for my pleasure, for my happiness. So a desire which is driven by my ego, that becomes kama. And sankalpa has many meanings. Now here sankalpa, see, one meaning of sankalpa is a determined thought. So I do sankalpa that I'm going to get up in the morning and go for a walk every day. Now that's a good sankalpa, okay? So the sankalpa here means samyak kalpana, a fanciful imagination. Purpose is here. See, Gurudev has translated this as purposes. We must understand that without some sort of purpose, we are not going to act. No purpose, just people just go doing actions or what? Some purpose is there. So understand this word correctly. But when that purpose is meant only for me and my happiness, for me to enjoy something, and it comes out of samyak kalpana, that is the break of that word, sankalpa, samyak kalpana, imagination. So there is a very well imagined thought that this result is going to give me happiness. That is what sankalpa means here. Because I told you, like, okay, people have a sankalpa to do something, or build a building, or graduate. That is also a determined thought. Also is sankalpa, but this is not a determined thought. This is a fanciful imagination. Imagination because it's in the future. Fanciful because it is false. Because there is no happiness in the world. There is no happiness in the result of any action. Action is coming out of ignorance. The result also is in ignorance. So there cannot be any everlasting, permanent happiness in that result. But when I think that I am going to get that result, I want that result, I want a particular result, I definitely want that result, and definitely it is going to give me happiness, it becomes sankalpa. And a wise person who knows, a realized master actually, who knows what akarma is, who has realized his own self, who knows that that self is a non-doer, will not have such sankalpas, will not have such fanciful imaginations, because he has the perfect discrimination between self and not self, and he has established himself in the self. And so whatever is the not self, he doesn't have an imagination that that is going to give me happiness, but he goes on working for the good of the totality. That's why Bhagavan says to Arjun, if you think you're realized, okay, there is no reason to give up work. You work for Loka Sangraha. Means for the good of the totality, you can work. We saw Gurudev working. We saw Swami Vivekananda working. So there's nothing wrong, because now no matter how much work they put out, nothing is binding them. So go on doing work. What is the problem? No problem. Okay, if you think you're not realized, work for purity of the mind. So in both ways, work cannot be, karma cannot be avoided. That is to be understood. That karma can never be avoided. Whether I am realized or I am yet to realize, either I work for the good of the totality or I work for the purity of my own mind. Now, Shastra, science, scriptures give freedom to the realized master. So scriptures say for the realized, you have a choice. You want to work, you work. You don't want to work, that is fine too. And so we see Raman Maharshi, we see Tapon Maharaj, we see other realized masters who chose not to work. And that's fine. That's allowed by scriptures. For those who are not realized, scriptures do not allow getting out of karma, especially your own duty. Scriptures say, do your own duty. Don't try to take up somebody else's duty, but your own duty you must do. Okay. And such a person who sees akarma in karma, so there is frantic action going on, yet he is non-doer, in that jnana, in that knowledge. So here knowledge should, see, jnana marga, we say, oh, understanding the oneness, etc. But here the knowledge is that I am the non-doer. It is akarma. There is akarma in all this karma that is being done outside. There is actually akarma only. It is, no matter how much action I do, it is not binding me. This is a firm, steady understanding, establishment in that thought, that fire of that knowledge also will burn all the actions. Jnana Agni Dagdha Karmanam. Jnana Agni, fire of that knowledge. What knowledge? That even though I am doing so much action, that none of my actions are driven by karma or sankalpa. They are not for my own selfish desires. They are not out of some sort of fanciful imagination that this is going to bring me happiness. That knowledge, when you get established in that knowledge and act as per that knowledge, that fire will burn your karmas. Which karmas? Sanchita and Agami. Prarabdha karma will continue. Prarabdha karma is so strong that it does not burn with knowledge. Prarabdha karma gets exhausted only by experiencing. So that's why we see realized masters also getting bypass and cancer and whatever, because it is the prarabdha of the body, which cannot be avoided, that is the only way that prarabdha karma can be exhausted, is by going through that experience. While going through that experience, the realized master says, this is the prarabdha of my body. We were in Vivek Churamani class, we saw prarabdham grathitam shariram. He knows that this body is woven out of the thread of prarabdha. So this is the prarabdha, that the body should get this, body should get that, body should get happiness also, because prarabdha brings happiness also. Prarabdha brings sadness also. He knows that this is out of prarabdha. It's got nothing to do with me. It's got nothing to do with me, because I am that self. Okay, so this fire, that is the fire of knowledge. Later on also Bhagavan will say that is the greatest purifier. Jnana is the greatest purifier. This is, as for karma, this jnana should be there. So even as spiritual seekers, every action that we do, every undertaking that we take on, every undertaking will have a purpose. Nobody is going to do without such purposeless action. But don't think that that result is going to give me happiness. Don't have that false idea. That's false. That's an illusion. So, but you do work. Why? Because I want to purify my own mind. That is not a false idea. That is not a false hope. If I do action without doership, my mind will get purified. And that is why you perform action. Like I told you, it's the law of karma. The result will come. Why are you worried about the result? This is what Bhagavan tells Arjuna also. Why are you worried? I've taken care of the war. I've taken care of the result. Here I'm showing you in chapter 11, he'll show him the result of the war. This is what I have done already. You just take the credit. Why not we do that? Why not leave it to Bhagavan? Law of karma will give you result. So that is, don't worry about the result. You just keep doing your action as per whatever your duty is, without desire, egocentric desire and fanciful imagination. That knowledge itself will burn out all your actions. Okay, next. Tyaktva karma phala sangam, sorry. Tyaktva karma phala sangam nityatrupto nirashrayah karmanyabhipravrittopi naiva kinchit karoti saha he. Having abandoned attachment to the fruits of action, ever content, depending on nothing, he does not do anything though engaged in actions. Okay, abandoned attachment, karma phala asanga, tyaktva, karma phala sanga, tyaktva, abandoned, renounced, given up. What? The attachment to the karma phala, result of action. So even though I am performing action for a particular result, I must not have the insistence that this is I am doing, and this is the only thing that I want, and that only that one thing is going to give me happiness. That is attachment. That should not be there. Okay, later on Bhagavan will say, even a householder who has given up this result of attachment to result of action is a sannyasi. Chapter 5, he will say that. He will praise the householder, because householders are always, Arjun was a householder like us, right? That's why this is very relevant to our stage of life, where we are householders. So this also we can follow now. I do action, but I do action, and please, there is a result in my mind, but the insistence is what is not there. Bhagwan, I'm doing this so that I get this result, but if I don't get it by some fluke, that's fine too. So don't think that the result is not in mind, okay? Nitya Trupta, ever content, means no agitation in the mind. No agitation while doing the action, no agitation for the future. We have everything. We are all excited in the present while doing the action. Will I get it? Will I get it? Will I get it? Then up to the result comes, again we are agitated. Will I get that? And then when the result comes, again, we are agitated again. Why? Quote unquote agitation as per Vedanta. Even we are happy, it is an agitation in the mind. So we got it, now we are jumping up and down. So agitation. We didn't get it, we are sad. Again, agitation. So agitation is not finishing. This nitya trupto, content. So you do work, and this doesn't mean, I've told you even in karma yoga, it doesn't mean that you do it in a haphazard way. No, you do it to the best of your ability. That's why do your best and leave the rest. So be content while doing the action, and also be content when the result comes. Prasada buddhi. These are the principles of karma yoga. That was in chapter 3 being practiced. Now this has been perfected. That's why I told you it's a progression from chapter 3 to 4. In 3, it was a practice. We were asked to practice. Understand, practice it like this. Sometimes our mind gets the same. That's why in chapter 2 only he said sukha dukhe same krutva. When I get it, there is sukha. When I don't get it, there is dukkha. You remain equanimous. So now that was told in 2. In 3, the method was given of how to remain equanimous, and now perfected. Okay. So we are still practicing. So let's practice. Nitya Trupto, Nira Ashraya. This is also very important. The Nira Ashraya, the best personification of Nirashraya is Draupadi when she let go of her hands of her sari. She left, because before that she was begging all the kings there and this and that and that and that. Finally, she says, that's it. I cannot do anything. That is Nirashraya. So you are not dependent for your happiness on the result of that action. What do I say? If I get this, I will be happy. If I don't get it, I'll be sad. That is what we say. What should be a spiritual seeker's mental attitude? I am happy doing the action, because every action is done for happiness. So you be happy even while doing the karma. So there is no dependence on the result for happiness. You're already happy. I don't know if I told you this story. There was a classroom of little kids, and the teacher asked, who wants to be happy? So everybody raised their hand. There was one little scrawny kid who didn't raise his hand. So the teacher asked, why? You don't want to be happy? He said, no. The teacher said, how come? Why? I am already happy. What is there to become happy? That should be that is Nirashraya. That I am already happy. I'm in the karma itself, there is joy. Every action should be done out of joy, not for joy. If it is for joy, then for is in the future. Joy will come in the future. But in the present only, like this is an instruction for spiritual seekers. This is the attitude of a realized master. Every time they give us, Bhagavad Gita tells us how a realized master functions, that becomes our goal. That has to become our goal. Then I also should be functioning, giving up the result of action. Insistence, again, I'm repeating this, okay? Please. Nobody, even I'm sitting here because in my mind, I know that people are joining. That's why today, when it's only me and Prem, I'm like, where are all the other people? Am I in a wrong meeting, right? So that is there. That has to be there. But that, that now everybody is going to like my lecture, and everybody is going to, then that is wrong. That is falsehood. So that is what is meant by renunciation of the attachment to the result of action, which is insistence. Insistence on a particular result, insistence on the thought that this result only is going to give me happiness. That should be given up. Nitya trupto, ever content. So while doing the action and when the result comes, both, because there are two events that are happening. One is I'm doing the action. Second is that result is going to come at a future date. So that when the action is done out of joy and not for joy, you are already happy. Then what happens is you become nirasha, means you are the joy of that result, or the result is not what you're dependent on for your joy, because you are already happy. So the result comes fine. That is how the realized master, this is a description of a realized master, 1920. So karmani abhipravrutto api, even though this realized master is doing frantic action, it to the other person it will look like, oh my god, how much action he's doing. Even our Swamiji's Guruji and also full day, either they're having meeting or this and that, something like that. It's nothing like, holiday, Sunday. Even though he does so much action, kinchit na eva kinchit karoti. Even this much he is not doing action. Means what? Means even this much action is not binding him at all. Karma, understand karma, I told you, definition is that which binds. So even though he's doing a whole lot of karma, 100% karma you see him doing during the day, even a fraction of 1% is not binding him. That is the realized master. So we want to imitate that. We don't want our karmas to bind us. Then we must follow this. Okay, any questions? All right. We are going into realization through karma. Okay, and knowledge about karma. And why is that giving? Because our life as householders is full of karma only. We are doing actions all the time. That's why we need this knowledge as well. Because then the jnana is when the mind gets very purified, and then meditation and all that. So that is also one way. But are we at that stage? We are not. We are at the stage where we are doing action. Therefore, 3, 4, and 5 become extremely important for householders. These 3 are very important. 3 is the practice. 4 is the perfection. 5 is perfected. Like perfect, this is how it'll progress, the teaching. Now, nirashiryata chittatma tyakta sarva parigraha shariram kevalam karma kurvannapnoti kilbisham. Without hope, with the mind and self-control, having abandoned all possessions, doing mere bodily action, he incurs no sin. This he is a realized master. Okay, realized master without hope. Now let's see what hope. Asha, because nirashi, nir asha, nir without, asha hope. So again, I'm telling you that of course when I do any action, if I'm going for a program, of course, I hope that there won't be traffic on the road. The road that I take will not have so much construction, which is going on left, right, and center. All that hope I will have. That is not false. This is not the meaning of that. You know what? This nirashi, hope, false hope. What is false hope? I have salt and I'm now expecting sweetness out of it. That is false hope. And what is the false hope that we have is, there is this object and that object will give me happiness. That is nirashi. That is false hope. That should not be there. Always there is hope that, oh, I hope I reach on time. I hope my friend was supposed to travel yesterday, Friday night, COVID positive, finish, all cancelled, right? So of course there is hope that, man, let me get on the plane without testing positive. That is not a false hope. That hope we all have, we must have. But thinking that that object is going to give, that result is going to give me happiness, that is false hope, because there is no happiness in the world. That part has to be understood. This is the main mistake that we are doing. Our thinking, the mistake is that there is happiness there. And that is what I want. And the mistake is that I don't know that I am myself the source of happiness. So nirashi must be understood very correctly. We must not have false hopes. We must not have hope of savoriness from sugar, sweetness from salt. Salt is salt. Fire, oh, this fire will not burn me. Let me just put my finger in there. No, it is going to burn you. Whether you're praying to fire and you're doing ahuti to fire, it is going to burn you. That is the nature of fire. That is false hope. Yata chitta atma. Atma here is mind, huh? Not atma. Yata chitta means self-controlled. So control of the mind. Control of the mind means purity of the mind. The more pure the mind is, it is more sattvic. As you reduce the rajas and tamas out of your mind, and I'm telling you this because we've also seen chapter 14 in some other class. Sattva, rajas, tamas are the gunas of the mind, the qualities of the mind. Rajas and tamas are impurities. As sattva goes on increasing, because sattva represents peace, purity, calmness, calmness of mind. So the mind becomes more self-controlled. Now, when you don't have a false hope out of something, that action that you're doing, and there's no false hope from that result, you will naturally be calm. The realized master he doesn't have any kind of false hopes. This is because I'm telling you from our level, we must also practice this. That's why this Shama and Dhamma that we see in the first Adhikari Lakshana in Tattva Bodh we saw, who is a qualified seeker. This is one who has Shama and Dhamma. Shama, control of the mind, Dhamma, control of the senses. And they both go hand in hand. You know, the senses are going outwards and extroverted because that's what they're cursed to do. So they will always go outwards, and the mind runs after them, after the eyes, after the nose, etc., etc. So not allowing the objects to go in is Dhamma, because that is control of the sense organs, and not allowing the mind to go after that. The more important part is the mind, because even though I can close my eyes and block the sound and everything and keep my mouth closed so nothing to eat, the mind can still run out. Mind is more powerful than the senses. So even though I can imagine, oh, this is this movie I'd like to see, oh, there I would like to go. So the mind can, so this Shama becomes more important. This Yata Chittatma is Shama, control of the mind. Okay. But if you have the senses control to a certain extent, the mind will come under control, and the mind will come under complete control when it is completely established in the fact that there is no happiness there. That is the main crux of the matter. That the mind keeps thinking that I'm going to be happy with this, I'm going to be happy with that, that's why in tapas also I told you, we think I'm going to be happy with this. Give it up for some time and see how you feel. That's part of the tapas that even I'm doing. I'm giving up certain things and I want to see if and so far I'm fine. I'm also, because I'm telling this, so I'm trying to do it myself. There's a story of Raman Maharshi that just comes to my mind. So there was a woman with a small child, 12-year-old boy, and she came to, not Raman Maharshi, Ramakrishna Paramhansa. She came to Ramakrishna Paramhansa, and that time, they had to walk from the village. Anyway, she came to Dakshineshwar and she said, my child is eating too much sweet, please tell him something. So Ramakrishna Paramahansa said, okay, come after 1 month and I'll tell you what to do. She said, okay, she didn't understand. She said, okay, fine. So she went back and she came back after 1 month. And then he said, child, please stop eating sweets. The mother got furious, like what? For 1 month, I walked that time and now I went back and now I walked again. Couldn't you just have told me this a month ago? Like you just said, don't eat sweets. So you could have told me that last month only. Why you made me come? He said, no, because I had to live for 1 month without sweets. First of all, I had to see if I can do it. Unless I can do it, I can't tell the child to do it. So it becomes very important when I say renounce or don't have false hopes, I should also be the same way, if I'm saying that. So that is why, that's what Ramakrishna Paraman said, that I have to be able to do it before I can tell anybody else. So this self-control will come when you are convinced, when the mind is convinced that there is no happiness. And how do I convince my mind? How do I convince? By giving up the thing. Give up the thing and see what happens. See what happens. Then it will be, then you will have that faith. Then first you do it with blind faith because it has been told, and then it will be your own knowledge. Arey, theek hai, it's okay. That's what. Okay. Tyakta sarva parigraha. Parigraha, hoarding. Hoarding. In Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, one of the yama niyamas, he gives a parigraha, hoarding. Now, hoarding is things which, if you look in your own house, so many things will be there which you didn't even know exist in your house. At least in my case, I can tell you, I open it like, oh, when did I buy this? Oh, I don't know when I bought it. I don't know when I last used it. I don't know when, because it is a form of attachment. Hoarding is a form of attachment. So it is giving up the attachment to the things that are not needed. What we need must be kept. It's not like we give up everything. Of course, we need a roof over our head. We need food. We need clothes. Whatever is needed is needed. But Tyakta sarva parigraha. And this parigraha, when we aparigraha rather, not hoarding, when we start doing it of the objects also, then slowly our attachment to our body, mind, and intellect also has to be given up. So that also then in a subtle way, this tyakta sarva parigraha, all hoarding, there should be no hoarding. Tyakta, give up. And then shariram kevalam karma, this phrase, shariram kevalam, only for sharira, only for body, can be taken in two ways. Actions done by the body. That's one meaning, understanding. And the other is actions done for the body. Now, actions done by the body doesn't work in this thing. It is not correct. Because all actions are done by the body, and to give them up, you cannot. So what this person does, because this person is a realized master, he does actions only for the mere sustenance of the body. Actions are done because body has to be sustained. So only minimum food that is required, minimum clothes that are required. That's why this Tyakta Sarva Parigraha comes. And the best example is Raman Maharshi, also example, but Tapovan Maharaj also. I've given you many examples where he would just be wandering in the Himalayas. If the body is meant to get food, the food will come. It's not like he's wondering, okay, let me, that's what we worry. Oh, let there be milk in the fridge. Oh, I hope there is this in the fridge, which is normal, which has to be. We are householders. Okay. But all other too many things, So this shariram kevalam karma also is very important. Actions done only for the maintenance of the body. And for us, and I've told you, to maintain, we better take all our medications. We cannot give that up. But the realized master will give that up as well. But we are not realized. We are on the path. So we have to take care of our body. Also, we have to take care of our body so that others don't get troubled because of us. So we maintain our medication level, exercise level, whatever food level, everything has to be maintained. But the hoarding, too much should be avoided. Then kurvanna apnoti, karma kurvanna apnoti kilbisham, na kilbisham, that there are two nas there. So what is being said is, then if a person does not have any false hopes, or the realized master, I'll tell you first. So this realized master doesn't have any false hopes. He's absolutely self-controlled. The mind is very, very equanimous. He has given up all belongings. There is no hoarding at all. And he is only doing action to maintain his physical body. Such action does not give him any kilbisham, impurity. Dirt. What is dirt for karma? Bondage. What is bondage? Next life. Your blueprint for the next birth. It doesn't give him. So for us, as spiritual seekers, we must not have false hopes from the world. We must try to keep an equanimous mind, which was, like I told you, told in chapter 2, practice in chapter 3, when we convert karma into karma yoga, that will increase the sattva in our mind, that will increase the purity of our mind. More purified the mind, less agitated it will be. And when I say agitation, it is less dancing in happiness and less going down in sorrow. Both has to be reduced. Both has to be. Equanimity doesn't mean that, oh, when I'm happy, I can be like all jittery and all that. And then when I'm sad, I'm like, no, that. So that'll happen. Then the hoarding also ours will reduce, because what I've got so many things. What does it do to me? No. And then the actions that are coming out will be for the maintenance of the body. Think about it. So many things we get into other people's affairs, or is it for the maintenance of our body? So this uparati will come. Uparati definition given is following your own dharma. Your dharma is to take care of your own body. It is part of the dharma also. So body must be taken care of, and a realized master, then whatever karma is done, it is not giving any kilbish. Kilbisha is dirt, impurity, bondage. That is the impurity of karma. What is the impurity of karma? Is that it binds. So there is never that kilbisham. Sin means, what is the sin? Sin is, I told, at the highest level, sin is to create another vasana for the next birth. That is only sin for us. For spiritual seekers, that is sin, that we have created another vasana. Okay, because at a lower level, it is stealing, lying, cheating. We are not into that at all. All right. Okay, we go further. Okay. Yadrichhalabha santushtaha dvandvatito vimatsarah samasiddhava siddhau cha kratvapi na nibadhyate. Content with what comes to him without effort, free from the pairs of opposites and envy, even-minded in success and failure, though acting he is not bound. Okay, so that's again the realized master. But for us, content, yadricha labha, yadricha word will come again in Bhagavad Gita. Yadricha is that which comes to me without asking. And I have always told you that if it is destined for you, it will come. Whether you ask for it or don't ask for it. Do we ask for any illness? Doesn't it come to us? So where is it coming from? Do we ask? No, we are trying to run away. It comes, it follows. The more you run, the faster that also runs. So yadricha labha, that's why even in good things, we must have that faith. If I'm supposed to win a lottery, please buy a ticket. If you're supposed to win, you will win. Not that, oh, I won't buy a ticket, but let me win the lottery. Not like that. But don't think that money gives you happiness. But yadricha, that is what he's. Yadricha labha santushtaha means whatever he gets, he's happy, whatever comes without effort. I told you, Swami Tapon Maharaj was walking, and then the thief came and he said, I've got only the shirt. If you want, I'll give you that. He said, oh, have you eaten? He said, no. He said, okay, half roti you eat, half roti I will eat. So thief gave him half roti. Yadricha labha santushtaha. That is yadricha. That it came without effort. He was just walking. That was his normal routine. He used to just wander in the Himalayas. Wanderings in the Himalayas is the book, right? So whatever comes, and what the faith that we should have is it will come, because it is controlled by destiny. It is not controlled by our effort. That's why we always say, people think that, oh, we have to do action to get some result. Not necessary. Not necessary. Sometimes a result will come because you have done the action in the past. We don't know what we have done in the past. That is yadricha labha santushta. So this person, whatever comes to him, okay, for us, we can practice that. We can have that faith. Dvandva atita, he's gone beyond the pairs of opposites. What is going beyond is that the world, first understanding has to be that the world is nothing but a pair of opposites. Look at nature. There was so much sunshine and warmth. Now it is cold. Now there was no rain. Rain will come. There was no snow. Snow will come. Now summer has gone. Autumn has come. Autumn will go. Winter will come. Winter will go. Spring will come. So autumn and spring is there. Summer and winter is there. The world is always going to be dvanda, there'll be duality, there'll be pairs of opposites. To go beyond the pairs of opposite is to remain equanimous in both. So when there is sunshine also you are same, and when there is winter also you are same, in snow as well as in sunshine, in rain, whatever it is. That is dvandva atita. That is dvandva atita, is not hating one thing. In my class yesterday, she said, oh, it's like we should have disgust for the world so we can escape from it. And I said, moksha is not escapism, and vairagya is not disgust. Discussing vairagya, I said, vairagya is not disgust. Those words should not be used. If you say I hate the winter, or I don't like the snow, or I don't like rain, you are not dispassionate. You are not dvandvatitaha. You're not, because you said you don't like. There should be no like, there should be no dislike either. Or no like, then should I just dislike everything? No. Then should I, no. Should I like everything? No, you should not like everything either. You should go about. That is what dvandvati. So the realized master is whatever. So rain comes today, okay, fine. Nobody is telling you not to take an umbrella. Snow came, nobody is telling you not to, wear your snow boots. Nobody is telling you that. But don't complain. That is the idea. Don't complain. Okay, take care. Sunshine, okay. Rain, okay. Everything is okay. It should be like that. Dvandvati. Vimatsara. Matsarati iti vimatsara. Vimat is V is vigata. Vigata without matsara, envy. We must not be envious of any. This is generally what happens, is that we feel, oh, he went so high up, I didn't go, or he got this, I don't have this. So that is what vimatsara, when a feeling where we cannot see somebody else moving ahead of us. That's matsara. Sarati iti matsara. Matsarati means his sarati is moving. So he's moving ahead of me. So that moving ahead can be because of like he has got more money than me, a bigger house than me, promotion, bonus, more, whatever. That is that sort of feeling we must not have. How we can avoid it for us? This is the description of a realized master. So that is okay. For us, the way to avoid is to believe in the law of karma. That if he has got more money, then he has done something in the past. Because of that, he has got the promotion. He's ahead of me for whatever reason. Other thing also to remember in mind is, see, we only look at one thing and then we feel jealous. Oh, my God. But look at, there will be other things which he doesn't have and we have, which may not be visible to us. He may be ahead in some way, but maybe he has some issues at home. Maybe he has some health issues, which he's not talking about, right? So that for us, that is not for realized master. He knows. But for us, those are the things we must avoid jealousy. And then at a higher level, like Raman Maharshi has given the method, who is jealous? Now that is a very subtle thought and it requires practice, but this is at the lower level. Understand that, okay, my karmas I did in the past life or whenever, that's why I got only this much and he got that much. This is why it happened. Okay. Other thing is, oh, but my family life is so good. Thank God my children are well. But look at his children, they are not doing so well in school. So it balances everything. Try and balance it. And then finally, when you go subtle, then you say, who exactly is feeling jealous? When you ask that question, that's a very, very powerful question. If it comes to you, try it. Only then you will know that negative thought will dissolve, because what you're doing now is you're not running with the thought, but you're facing the thought. So it's like, I'm angry, right? So now I'm blasting off anger. And then suddenly I stop and I say, who is angry? So what I'm doing is now I've separated that anger from myself. Who is angry? So there's a separation. And when that happens, that anger will dissolve. Jealousy will dissolve. Whatever negative feelings, they will dissolve. Okay. And at our stage, we must not be questioning good thoughts. Who's the one that said, give donation to the mission? Don't. But at a later stage, at an even further stage, all good and bad thoughts have to be neutralized. But at our stage right now, because we are trying to purify the mind, we must get rid of these negative thoughts. So he is Vimatsara, who the realized master, but we have to practice that. Whatever he is or she is, we need to practice. That is our goal. Sama siddha asiddhau. Siddhau and asiddhau. Siddhi must not be understood here as supernatural powers. It is just what I get and what. That is exactly same instruction as Sukha Dukkhe Samay Kritva. Because Siddha is something which I get, which makes me happy. Asiddha is something which I don't get. Then when I don't get what I want, I'm unhappy. Or I sometimes get which I don't want. I get that also. Then I'm unhappy. Or I don't get what I want. Then also I'm unhappy. Sama, he is equanimous. So we must try to maintain that equanimity in both what we get and what we don't get. And again, the same things will help, that it is our karma, or maybe I didn't put in enough effort to do. This is the mistake that I made. Whatever, whatever helps you. That's why I'm giving you these various ideas. Whichever helps, do it. If you can do who is unhappy, you're at the highest level, and dissolve that unhappiness thought with that. Whatever. So take your mind off of the problem also. That is also one thing that you can do. Start thinking of something else. Just like we do to a child. Yesterday, I was walking my grandchild and he fell and he started crying loudly. Then he likes to count. So I said, oh, 1 car, 2 car. And then, his mind went into there and he stopped crying. So same thing with our own mind. Our mind also is like a child. So when our mind is harping on that same thing, this happened, then try to divert the attention to somewhere else. And this knowledge, if you can remember, it'll help. It helps. It definitely helps. Let me tell you, because I know I use it all the time. Then what happens is, even though kritva api, even though he acts, na nibadhyate, not binding him at all. So these things, so anything that comes to me, I remain content. I remain equanimous in the pairs of opposites. I remain without envy. Envy means anger, all the negative thoughts, envy, because somebody else is going ahead of me. If I can remain without that envy, I always feel there's really nothing to be envious of anything, because if you really look deeper into that person's life, there will be something which he doesn't have and you have. We just look at the surface. Do you agree? Like, we look at the surface and we think, oh, he got the promotion. But then maybe after the promotion, say, oh my God, what is this? There's so much problem with this promotion. Oh God, I didn't get it. I quickly tell you. So I was working in the business service center for Royal Bank, and they decided to move that entire service center to Toronto, centralize it. So what they were doing is, department by department, they were moving, and the department was moving. So everybody wherever there were jobs coming up, people were applying. All of us means people means me also. Everybody was applying that. Okay, means whoever wants to get transferred, get out, because this department is moving. So there's one position which came up downtown. 2 of us applied, me and another girl, assistant manager position. We both applied, and she got it downtown. It was downtown, really, Georgia Street, downtown. And she was very happy. She said, oh, I got it. So I said, no, fine, good luck, no problem. And she went there. And then what happened? The same position came up in Richmond. And I was next in line. So I applied. So I got it. And the problem was, she lived in Richmond. She was living in Richmond. Okay. So for her, from Richmond to downtown, no parking. She had to take public transit from somewhere. I was living in Vancouver. So for me, Richmond was so she came to me, oh, but to go to Richmond is going to take you like half an hour, 40 minutes. So I could tell that there was envious, because she would have loved that. That would have been kind of walking distance for her from her home. But because, this is what happens. And I said, no, that's fine, whatever. I was living at the foot of Knight Street Bridge. So for me, it was just 15 minutes. Parking, I got immediately. That was the first thing. Where do I park my car? I got that. Everything set. So, that is why this envy is not good. And then whatever you gain and not gain, because every karma is either going to give you the result or not going to give you the result, or give you some third result only, which you are not expecting. Remain equanimous. If you can follow this, then even though you're performing action, and you have to perform action because you don't have a choice, then that if that action doesn't bind you, no problem. No problem. Problem of action is the bondage. Bondage is the creating of vasanas. Okay, good. Any questions? We'll stop here if there are any questions. So we have almost completed half, I think, right? No, 41, 42. Yeah, 23. We'll continue next time. Yeah.
I was just thinking, like, just actions that we do. I mean, for us householders, or everyday actions that we have to do. It's sometimes we do things automatically because we are like trained from childhood, habituated. But sometimes, this thing of not thinking about the results, or because you're so used to doing these things, especially small things and routine things in the house. So, I mean, I'm just trying to put this whole thing into how do we get into this thing of not worrying about, not thinking about the results of like small things, not very big things, but everyday small actions. I would like to like have some kind of a thing where you think you have to think about what we are learning and what we are trying to put into action.
Practice.
Right? So
put into practice.
Yeah. So put into practice. So this is something, because big things sometimes you sort of think about, when we are wanting to do something, and then you think about all these things that you are learning. But everyday small things you don't even think, it just comes automatically.
Yeah. See, everyday small things are falling under nitya karma. I told you the differences are the nitya karma. Nitya karma actually doesn't give you merit or demerit. Like it gives you pratyavaya dosh. Pratyavaya dosh is what, nitya karma is to brush your teeth. Now you're brushing your teeth every day. It is not giving you some punya karma that, it's creating a vasana for your next birth. But if you don't do that, now it is going to give you rotten teeth. Right? So that pratyavaya dosh is there. So nitya karma, these small karmas that we do at home, they continue doing them. But when it comes to big undertakings, suppose there is something that you have planned to do, there you follow these rules that, okay, I'm planning to do this, but it is not, if it comes, fine. Because nitya karma is like every day morning you will get up, you'll take bath, you will go to, like if you have work or at home, you'll cook, you'll clean. All those things are, it's okay, let them go on routine. If you can do them with an alert mind, it is better. If you do with inadvertence, then it could sometimes, be problematic. So, like while cooking, maybe you will add salt twice, or you may not add twice. Simple things like that, right? But those are not really giving you any kind of, creating vasanas. You're fulfilling your duties, you're exhausting your prarabdha karma because you have been put into that situation because of your prarabdha. So by doing those, you're exhausting that, which is fine. But in the other things, this karma phala sangha, this tyaga has to be done. The next chapter, first verse only, he will say that the one who is detached to the results of action, I consider him to be a sannyasi. This is what Bhagwan is going to say. That even though he's a householder, I am. So I'm giving you a thing in the future. So when we raise our children, that is the first thing, is this child will grow up and take care of me. Or if the child wants to go out of town for studies, we must allow them. I know parents who have not allowed. And that is attachment, because for your happiness, you're not seeing what the child is going to be happy. The child is saying that I'm going to be happy in Toronto. I want to go to University of Toronto. I want to go to here. I want to go to this university. And the child is saying that they'll be happy, but I am not happy because I don't want my child to go there. Now I say, no, that should not be done. That is not Nitya Karma. That is happening only once in a while, right? So those type of things you must take care of. But don't worry about the small every day, you're eating breakfast, eating everything like that. But, okay, does that help?
Yeah. See, sometimes, like when we, like I have this habit of, organizing my stuff. I like to do my planning and whatever I need to do. Even like say a month ago, if I know that I have to do this, I but everybody else, they keep telling me, why do you worry about so many things and,
No.
future?
Planning,
but I like to do
that's
that.
fine. Yeah. Me too. I like to get organized. Otherwise, I feel very out of control. I'm a controller, that, I mean, I do that too.
If
like
I have to do something or go out somewhere, then I like to manage all my
be
other
organized.
things.
And I write it down also now because I have memory issues. I forget. So I write memory triggers.
I am told I make a lot of lists.
I do now. I had a flu shot appointment yesterday at 8 o'clock. At night, I thought, oh my God, what if I get up in the morning tomorrow and I forget? So I wrote a note, flu shot, 8 o'clock, and I put it on the counter. So when I come up, flu shot. Not that I forgot. I didn't forget. I knew. But this is what is. So getting organized is not a crime. I like to be organized. Okay. So 23rd, there will be a class, but 30th, there won't be a class. Okay. So next Sunday, there is a class, 9:15. And tomorrow also, there is a class, Monday, and Friday also, there is a class. All right. Okay. Om swasti prajabhyav paripalayantam nyayena margena mahim mahishaha gobrahmanebhya shubhamastu nityam loka samasta sukhino bhavantu kale varshatu parjanyah prithvi sasya shalini desho yam kshobarahita brahmana santu nirbhayaha Om sarvesham swasti bhavatu sarvesham shantir bhavatu sarvesham purnam bhavatu sarvesham mangalam bhavatu sarve bhavantu sukhinah sarve santu niramayaha सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ओम असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ओम शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः